I didn't do anything. I just got to the hospital and then immediately had one big contraction and then I was pushing. And I was like, whoa. We just skipped my laboring room and went straight to delivery. And then I started pushing. Like, I don't even remember. It was a whirlwind. It happened so fast.
Hi, my name's Krista, and welcome to Moms Simply Thriving, a channel focused on helping busy moms thrive daily with greater ease and less effort.
So, today, as promised, I'm going to share another birth story. And if you've watched my first video, you will know that I was in labor for well over 24 hours. Well, this was exactly the opposite of that. I do hypnobirthing. I did natural labors with all of my births. And so I wanted to labor at home in a relaxing environment for as long as possible. And so by the time we got to the hospital, I think my water broke right away. And then I went to the triage room and they checked me and I was dilated to a 7. I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I really love to labor in the tub. And so the nurse went to the room where I was going to labor and she turned on the bath for me, getting it ready. And while she was gone, I was on one side and then I just turned over to the other side. I just rolled over and that initiated the most powerful contraction I'd ever experienced. And I remember thinking in that moment, oh my goodness, I've heard of those kind of contractions that can take you from a 7 to 10 in one contraction. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those. And I was just trying to breathe, trying to just relax into the pain. And then the nurse came back and I said, you may want to just check me again. And sure enough, I was right there at a 10. And and so she's like, oh crap, I've got to call your midwife. I've got to call her back and get her over here stat. And we just skipped my laboring room and went straight to delivery. And then I started pushing. Like, I don't even remember. It was a whirlwind. It happened so fast. Almost happened a little too fast because I didn't even get a chance to get into a flow, get into a rhythm. And suddenly it was just all over, which is great, right? It was awesome. So I was super happy. But I shared this story for lots of reasons. I learned several lessons. Number one, I probably should have gotten to the hospital maybe a little bit sooner. I didn't even have a chance to check into my room, get settled. I didn't have a chance to get in the bathtub. So I probably should have gotten there a little sooner and not waited as long. And I also learned that things can happen really quick when we let them, when we allow them, when we just submit to it. And sometimes it is better to just rip off the band-aid and just get it over with. I'm curious to know your opinions, though, on what you prefer. Let me know in the comments. Do you prefer the big contractions that take you from a 7 to 10 in one? Or do you prefer the little mini contractions that are more gradual, maybe a little bit slower, but easier to get through? Let me know. And also let me know what's the strongest contraction you've ever had. The other lesson that I learned from this is that I can do hard things. I was able to withstand a contraction that took me from a 7 to a 10. It was super intense, but it was over quick. It made me feel good that I was able to conquer that and be able to do that. And lastly, and maybe most importantly, I learned that things don't always turn out the way that you plan. In fact, most often, especially when it comes to childbirth, it seems to almost always turn out exactly opposite of how you plan. I think it's really good to do a birth plan and let your nurses and support and doctors know what you wish, because it's nearly impossible to talk about that when you're in labor, but also plan on the unexpected and be prepared for things to totally go sideways on you. That happens to so many of us. I can't think of anyone where their labor just went exactly as they planned. And so I think it's really important to be prepared for those unexpected, unanticipated things that happen during childbirth, because they almost always happen. So that's my story. I hope you gained some insight. And if you have any friends who are getting ready for childbirth right now, go ahead and share this video with them. They'll appreciate it. and I hope you have a great day.